the next episode of CoVerse, the podcast, part of the Insurance Nerds Network, where we will be shining light on the best stories and storytellers in the industry. My name is Whitney Doig, and I'm joined by my co-host, Zaira Salcido, and a very special guest, Bobbie Shrivastav. Bobbie, it is such a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Whitney. Thank you, Zaira.
Of course, of course.
All right, now we're going to pass it over to Zaira, who's going to inform all of our listeners on what we're talking about with Bobbie today.
Yeah, thank you, Whitney. So today we're talking about the Making Waves Awards. And Bobbie, you recently just won this award at InsurTech Hartford. Seeing that it's the word making is an actual verb with action behind it. Could you talk us through what that means to you to be actively making waves within the industry?
Oh, absolutely. And I shared this this quote when I received that award on stage. To me, you know, when we were talking about making waves in the insurance industry award, and to me, I was very honored, but I also have to think about, you know, like the quote from Mother Teresa about, I cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across waters to create many ripples. And to us, like when we're talking about innovation and making waves, it's how do we become those ripple makers in the world where we can do one positive step to create these ripples. And if we can individually do many of those, we can create the change that we want.
That's awesome. That's awesome. When you think about kind of your ripples, one of the things that I've noticed that seems to be a theme that comes up as we're talking to all the recipients is how their passions kind of led them to what they're doing and the waves that they're making. So talk to us a little bit about how your passions drive you as you're continuing to make those ripples.
No, absolutely. I mean, the reason why we started in Benekiva was a desire to create a better experience. So for example, before Benekiva, I had another company called Docsmore, and the genesis of Docsmore came through a life-changing event for me, being a new mom. I talk about this quite often, where when Sana was born, we as parents, Sovan and I, were inundated with paper, whether that's HR, whether that was disability, and I'll share a quick story on that, whether that's everywhere. We just kept getting these, either a PDF document where we had to figure out how to get this completed and sent, or figure out this workaround process to get data and information. And at that point, we said, no more, like we can't do that anymore. There's got to be a better solution, because signature alone is not going to move the needle. We've got to have data-driven documents, and that's where we started our journey. And, you know, when you think about the insurance space, you know, and we met with another one of our founders that was having an experience in the financial advisory space of how he was losing clients because of the claims process. It really reminded me of what happened to me from a disability claims process, where new mom have, as a new mom, if you've been a mother, you know, like all of the first that comes with it. And then on top of that, my leave is based on short-term disability. And I have to get that paperwork done, and it's got to be right in order to get that benefit, so that for the next 6 to 8 weeks, I'm good, at least financially, while taking care of this new one. And when my HR contacted me, I basically sent a picture to my HR, and so I said, here's my baby, like, here's my proof, right? Like, that's what I thought I had to do from a disability paperwork, because they had all my data. I was hoping that they would complete the whole process, but no, she sends an email back and said, congratulations, here's a form that you probably want to submit in order to get your benefits rolling. And I looked at that form and I was like, okay. So like figure out, okay, type. And then at the bottom, it said the only way I could send that paperwork was mail. not email,
my
mail, or
Oh.
fax. And I know as a technologist, guess what, mail? It's delayed, it could get lost.
Mhm.
Fax was my only digital option. So here I am with Sana in a stroller going to Kinko's because I don't own a fax
No.
machine. Heck, I
Who
was
owns
telling
a fax?
yesterday, I
Yeah.
didn't even own a printer. I had to
Yeah.
figure out how to like tell my husband, like, oh, go hook up a printer because we got to print this document. That's the world that we live in when it
Mhm.
comes to claims. So when we were hearing this use case about claims from an insurance perspective, that's the genesis of why the three of us came in, because we all came at it from our own stories and lens. Mine was, man, I felt the disability claim process. It sucked, and I bought life insurance too. So when Brent was talking about all of the issues with the life insurance, I'm like, okay, disability. And now you're telling me that 68% of claims go unclaimed. I just bought a policy as a check the list item. I mean, those things just catapulted to what Benny Kiva is. And I think that's the passion that carries the founding team through, because we all come at it from a different lens, but together we're solving a pretty big problem for our industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love seeing how people's personal stories and passions bring them into making such an impact on the industry that we work on. I think that that's so huge and so important. And we love what you're doing out in the industry. And I'm so excited to continue watching from the sidelines you grow and continue to making those
Both of
goals,
us.
as
Yeah.
you say, out there. Yes, absolutely. So we appreciate what you're doing so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been the Making the Wave award was just like, it was, A, it was unexpected, and B, it just felt so good because we've been doing it. I've been on this journey since 2016, particularly with Benny Kiva, and 2015, right, with my other company. And I feel like, okay, the 8 years, like it felt like in the community, the insurance community is recognizing some of the talent, right? And some of the innovators that are making waves in the space.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
important. Yes. So important to finally get to that moment where you feel like, okay, this is paying off. Like, I really am making a difference. It really is paying off all the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into it. And we're lucky to have people like you out in the industry that are
Very
trailblazers.
fortunate.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, team.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Bobbie. We're so happy that you were able to join us today and share what it meant to you to win the Making Waves Award. We're so excited to watch you continue making those ripples, all the different ways that you do. We're going to be cheering you on from the sidelines. To our listeners, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next one.